Hello guys, I'm back and it's good to be back here in the channel creating this video. In fact, this is my very first video that I'm filming immediately after my discharge from the hospital after battling with the coronavirus, with the COVID-19, and I'm here to share with you my experience with the disease so that it will raise more awareness amongst all of you out there. So, let's do this. Hello guys, so as you all well know, I posted in my YouTube community feed that I contracted the coronavirus, and at that time I was really hoping that's going to be just a mild case. It was like a majority of people have a mild case of coronavirus, but unfortunately in my case, didn't really happen. I ended up being a critical case of a coronavirus and ended up spending like 15 days in the hospital. Now, I wanted to film this immediately after my discharge, within a week, because I came out with a poll asking you guys if you want to hear about my coronavirus experience, and a whopping like 77% of you said yes. So here I am doing the video. Thing is, it's been a couple of weeks already since I got discharged from the hospital, because on my first week, I was really too weak, guys. Couldn't even hold or catch a breath. And I don't know if you noticed, while I'm filming this video now, I'm still trying to catch my breath while I'm talking to you here. But don't worry, I'm okay. I could do this. I'm just here in my home right now. I'm very comfortable. Now, before we begin with my story, I'd like to extend a special thank you to the special people, the wonderful people who helped save my life, literally, when I was battling coronavirus. So I'd like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Abet Nolido. He's my pulmonologist, really awesome doctor. He literally saved my life. I also want to thank Dr. Marcia, who was monitoring my liver, because, my liver was one of the organs that got hit by the coronavirus, believe it or not. It's not just the lungs. And I also want to thank Dr. Alcala, infectious disease doctor, Dr. Canlas, who's a gastroenterologist, and I also want to thank the people in my insurance, from Medellin, Catherine, Miss Jazz and Luis of Pacific Cross. Thank you guys so much for all of your assistance. And I also want to extend a super special thank you and shout out to all the nurses on the 15th floor COVID wing of St. Luke's Global City. You know, the nurses there, they were taking care of me round the clock, and I really, literally couldn't have made it if not for their special care. So thank you guys so much. You are truly the heroes when it comes to this pandemic. So, little background, guys. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I got the coronavirus, and I'm going to answer some questions that you posted in the comments, and hopefully at the end of this video, it will raise more awareness about what coronavirus is all about. Now, I'm going to answer the most popular question that you guys posted in the comments, and it's this question. Now, this question is the most popular question in the comments section, guys. Like, where did I get it? How did I get coronavirus, right? And there were some speculations in the comments saying that I probably got it from the dealers or from the distributors who were lending me cars to do car reviews. Well, I'm gonna put an end to that right here, right now. I didn't catch the disease from the cars. I didn't get it from a dealership. In fact, I wasn't even the primary carrier. You see, the first person to exhibit symptoms in my household was one of our house help, and she had a slight fever. And she wanted to rest for a day. So I took her to a clinic, I got her swabbed, and it came out positive. So what I did, of course, fearing for my own safety, of course I had my mask, I had my face shield on. I also got tested myself. I also got swab tested, and I came out negative. So if it started with me, then I should have been positive the whole time, but I wasn't. So it was one of our house help members who first tested positive, and she ended up infecting my entire family, including my kids and my wife. I was the last one to exhibit symptoms amongst my family. So yes, I could tell you straight away, I didn't get it from the dealers. I didn't get it from the distributors, the car dealers, the auto distributors. They're very careful making sure that all of their vehicles are properly sanitized to make sure that, their establishments are all COVID-free. So there you go. I got it from one of our house help who ended up infecting my entire family. All right, so this is the second most popular question in the comment section. Like, what were the symptoms that I felt? So after testing negative, I didn't really feel anything for a couple of days. And then on the third day, I had an itch in my throat and I was already running a slight fever. Now, the slight fever went on to become a full-blown fever where I was above 39 degrees Celsius. My body temperature was above 39 degrees Celsius for 7 days. And I was really just at home doing home care. The thing is, I had a slight dry cough, a high fever, I had loose bowel movements, and I was vomiting at the same time. So it's like you got a really bad case of flu coupled with food poisoning, all wrapped up in one really sick package. But I was still at home. All right, so I didn't lose my sense of smell or my sense of taste. So that didn't happen. So yeah, now, what made me go to the hospital? Because all that time, I was just staying at home, managing my fever, because all the hospitals were already near the breaking point. Now, one of the things that probably saved my life was the advice of my doctor to get an oximeter. Now, this is an oximeter, guys. So you can see there. See? Now, this little gadget is very cheap. You could buy it online or in any drugstore. Now, that measures your oxygen saturation level in your bloodstream. Now, my doctor told me that it's okay, stay at home, manage your fever if your oxygen levels go below 92. Now, the normal levels is 95 to 100. But if it goes below 92, go to the hospital immediately. So on my 7th day of fever, I was having breakfast and I took my oxygen and it was at 90. And when I saw it was 90, I messaged my doctor, my oxygen levels is at 90, what should I do? And the doctor said, go to the hospital right now. And that's what I did, guys. All right, so what were the things that I was doing while I was in home care? So, well, my doctor prescribed to me that I should take an antibiotic called azithromycin, which I think was to help prevent pneumonia at that time. So that didn't work. And I was also taking this thing. This is the Linhua. This is a Chinese medicine. I was taking this for like 4 days. Didn't really work also. So none of that stuff works. All right? So most people would probably get better with some mild management if they have a mild case. But with what happened to me, none of those treatments, the azithromycin, the Linhua, I was doing steaming like almost every hour, didn't work. I was drinking a lot of hot drinks, hot tea, hot ginger blend, whatever. Nothing worked, guys. All right, now this is the juicy part of my coronavirus experience. What happened to hospitals here in Metro Manila was it was filled to the brim, all right? And I went through that personally. So I went to St. Luke's Global City, and it took nearly 3 hours waiting in the driveway of the emergency room before I got inside the emergency room. It was that bad. I was in a wheelchair, and I was trying to catch my breath. And I was lucky enough that I was able to get inside the ER within the same day. So I spent like 3 hours waiting. It's not really a long time. But when I got inside the ER, so they gave me a stretcher for a bed. And what happened was I spent 4 days. That's right, guys. 4 days in the ER waiting for a room, for a hospital room where I could be properly treated. But of course, inside the ER, they already started treatment on me. Okay, so they ran a lot of tests. They saw that I had critical pneumonia already. They also saw that my liver was being attacked by the coronavirus. My liver was inflamed. So I had to go through hemodialysis, hemoperfusion, and that sounds pretty scientific, guys. But in a nutshell, it just means that I had to have liver dialysis. So how do you do that? You know, hemoperfusion is they stick a tube in my neck. So it's a minor surgery. They cut open a hole. I don't know if you could even see, there is the scar there, all right? So they cut open a hole and insert a catheter, a tube. Inside my jugular vein so that it reaches my liver. And then the whole procedure for the liver dialysis would last for 2 hours, where my blood would be cleaned out of all of these inflammation enzymes. And it's not really a pretty picture, and I'm gonna show you, this is what I look like. You see that? So there's a tube sticking out from my neck, and I had it for a week. I went through like 3 sessions of that. So trust me, guys, it's not something that you would wanna go through, all right? And if you're afraid of needles, you don't wanna have coronavirus. You know why? Because every day they have to take my blood, and they have to put like an IV on me, have to stick a lot of stuff, a lot of needles in me. So if you're afraid of needles, man, pray that you don't get coronavirus, or better yet, get yourself vaccinated. So yes, I spent 4 days in the hospital, ER. And on the 4th day, I was able to get a room, and I spent like 11 days there. And I'm very lucky that my body responded to the treatment. So I was treated with the remdesivir, which is an anti-COVID medication. I also got like convalescent plasma, and this is basically a blood from another COVID survivor that has antibodies already. So they give that to COVID patients so that the antibodies will help in fighting the coronavirus. So that's also another thing that I'd like to ask you guys. If you're a coronavirus survivor, please donate some of your blood, because who knows, this might save another person's life. And I actually plan to do that as well once I'm eligible to donate my plasma, so that another person might benefit from it, all right? So yeah, and of course I was on oxygen the whole time. Now, I was lucky enough I wasn't intubated, okay? My oxygen levels were responding on high flow oxygen. So I had high flow oxygen in my nose. And yeah, so at least my oxygen saturation went back up to pretty normal levels. So I didn't have to go through intubation. Now, pretty lucky there. So I think it has something to do with the fact that I'm also physically fit. I'm quite athletic. I do sports. I play like high-level badminton, and I also lift weights, and I do body weight exercises. So it helps a lot if you're relatively young, like myself. They considered me young in the hospital, and it also helps if you're physically fit. So I also believe that one of the reasons why I was able to defeat coronavirus, despite being in a critical stage already, is the fact that I also live a healthy lifestyle. Now, here's the thing about the coronavirus. Let's say you get treated in the hospital, and the St. Luke's Global is one of the best, if not the best, hospital that we have here in Metro Manila. The thing is, the treatment isn't cheap, guys. All right, so my 15-day stay in the hospital, I ended up having a hospital bill of over ₱1 million. All right. Now, the good thing there is I have insurance. And you probably guessed already that my day job is actually in the insurance industry. All my videos that I've been coming up with, there's always a banner at the bottom part that's always asking, do you need insurance? And you could contact me. Now, this is not just motor vehicle insurance. You know, my company carries medical insurance, life insurance, investments, and of course, car insurance and all that. Now, I also have very robust medical insurance, so I'm very lucky that not only did I survive COVID, but I also didn't have to pay a single cent because my medical insurance took care of everything. So if there's another advice that I could give to all of you guys, make sure that your medical insurance is in order. Because true, majority of coronavirus patients would have no symptoms or would be mild. But if you're one of the 1 or 2% that ends up being a critical case, like me, I mean, I would never have imagined that I'd be a critical case because of my healthy lifestyle, relatively young age. I don't have any pre-existing medical conditions, and yet coronavirus hit me like a Mack truck, right? It hit me like a ton of bricks, and I ended up, spending a couple of days in the critical ward in the emergency room. It's that bad. So if you're part of that 1 or 2% of coronavirus patients who end up being critical, I do pray that you have adequate medical insurance to take care of the surely expensive hospital bill that you will rack up. So, but if you still don't have any, you know my email, send me a message. Yeah, so my current status now, I'm now on the second week immediately after my discharge. And my lung capacity is improving on a day-to-day basis. Mostly due to the fact that my doctors gave me this. I don't know if you know this, guys, but this is a breathing toy where I have to breathe in here and this thing would go up. So something like this. Yeah, it's that hard. Anyway, I have to do that on a daily basis so that my lung capacity would go back to what it was before COVID, before coronavirus. Now, what's the status and what would you guys expect from the channel Reagan's Rides? Okay, so I'm trying my best to really bring my health back up to pre-coronavirus levels so that once our lockdown here in Metro Manila ends, I could hit the car review circuit again and deliver to you more car reviews. Moving forward, don't worry, the channel is gonna be alive and kicking. I'm going to bring my health back to what it was so that once everything's at 100%, I'm going to go back to reviewing cars and delivering to you some of the choicest and best car reviews that you've come to expect from Reagan's Rides. So there you have it, guys. So that was my coronavirus experience. It was truly a hair-raising experience for me, and there are a lot of lessons learned. It's really good to have faith, not just in the people, the doctors, the nurses that are helping you out, but also, of course, to the big guy above. I'm so grateful, guys, for all of your prayers, for all of your well wishes. That I really felt that the prayers that you guys sent to me really lifted me up as well. That in those darkest moments that I had in the emergency room, it was your prayers that helped me pull through, guys. And for that, I am extremely grateful to you all. So, anyway, I look forward to seeing you again in my next video. And if you haven't already, guys, please subscribe to Reagan's Rides. Don't worry, I'll be back on my feet in no time, and I will be giving you more awesome car reviews in the near future. So until then, guys, thanks for watching.